by this time. So I've been studying.
Okay. All right. So let's
Yes,
look at
ma'am.
chapter 13. And we'll be looking at correspondence. So after this chapter, we are supposed to understand the different types of correspondence. First of all, we want to know what correspondence is about. We'll be looking at the different types of correspondence, and also we'll be exploring different methods of correspondence. I sent some past questions to the group WhatsApp. I don't know, you got them right?
Yes, I've seen them, but I've not
Okay.
started working with them.
Have you
I've,
written this kind of exam before?
not
Is this
really.
your first time of writing?
Pardon? Yes, it's my first time.
Okay.
This is yes one.
Okay, so this is your first time of writing it. So, I like I said, people should try and look at
Yes. No,
the
according
what
to my the past questions, according to my own study schedule, is that I want to start my past question from next month. Strictly
okay.
next month, the whole before the exam should just be fast, and I want to make sure I finish and I master the what's it called notes. Then I start fully on past question for next month.
Okay, but what I'm even trying to say is, since you've not written the exam before, I don't know if you've taken your time to look at the format of the
The
exam.
format, yes, I've
Yeah.
done that. I've
Okay.
checked. Yes, I've gone
And the
through it.
compulsory question, especially in because I see that that of economics is different from communication skills, so you need to check the differences,
Yes,
and also
yes.
the compulsory question, so that on exam days you will not be surprised that why is this question compulsory. If you know the format, it will be easier for you. So let's quickly go to slide 2. What is correspondence? So correspondence is a written form of communication between two parties. This course is communication skills, and we've looked at a lot of things, but everything we've looked at, all the chapters that we have talked about in this communication skill, all of them has to do with communication itself through different means. But today we are looking at it through correspondence, and we have established that correspondence is a written form of communication. Written form is important that we note this word written, because there are other forms of communication that are not written, but for correspondence, it is a written form of communication and it is between two parties. In other words, it's a way to pass an idea or pass on ideas in writing. It is a commonly used form of communicating in business. And I said in the past, correspondence was mostly exchanged through written physical letters or telegraph. But in today's world, the definition of correspondence has expanded by the inclusion of digital media such as the emails, the text messages, document exchange through social media platforms, and digital agreement. So, without wasting much time or without beating so much around the bush, we are just talking about communicating between two parties, but this time around we are very particular about it in a written form. And we said before now, how people communicate is via letters. Then we didn't have, or should I say, phone wasn't rampant. Phone wasn't rampant, but now we have digital means. We have emails. You can send email to somebody and the person will respond back to you, so you pass an information either to communicate to the person, to pass an information, or any other thing on any other means. But what you are doing is that you are passing information to that person. So what are the types of correspondences that we have? We have two basic type of correspondence. We have the internal and the external. Don't forget, what are we looking at? So if we say what are the types, we are saying this communication or this information we said is between two parties. We have the one that is internal and we have the one that is external. Now, what are the differences? Internal correspondence is intended for consumption within an organization or an establishment. So, the best way for you to understand this, the distinction between the two things that we are trying to communicate is that see yourself as someone within an office space. So, inside that office, any information or any communication that goes between you and your colleagues, you and your boss. your boss to your colleague, your boss to boss, different line managers. All those information, they are what? Called the internal.
Internal.
Please, can you, yes, please, can you mute yourself?
Okay.
Yes. So all those information, they are called the internal, um those methods are called what? Internal correspondence. But when it comes to external, I said external correspondence, on the other hand, is destined for consumption outside the organization, such as, let's say we are manufacturing industries and we want to send a message to our suppliers to supply us goods and services for sale. Whatever message that we send from the organization to our suppliers or to our customers, informing them of maybe a discount that we are giving out, all those kind of inform, it could be through a mail, it could be through circular, maybe we could even advertise it on the newspaper or something. All those information that is not within the organization that you work for is what is called the external correspondence. So let's quickly look at slide 3. Actually, this is a very short topic, it's not so much. Let's see methods of correspondence. There's the different ways now that we can pass this information. As an information resource, correspondence needs a channel through which it is conveyed. No matter the body of knowledge that I have as one party of a communication process, if there is no method or medium or means for me to pass whatever it is I have in my brain, there's no how the other party is going to gain anything. So that's why we are looking at the method through which these informations are passed. Don't forget, we are looking at it in a written form, not oral. So one of those methods is through letters. These days, some people still write letters though, but it's very rare, especially with the advent of technology and all these digital services. So a letter is a piece of writing. Me, I know I wrote letter during my own time. A letter is a piece of writing directed it's in absentia at an individual as if they were face to face contact. I remember those times when they used to tell us to write um in exams, English exams, those times they will ask us to write letter. Do you know that the people that scored high marks in those letters, those times, are people who can imagine things? Like, for instance, there was this recent letter, I think in your ICANN pack, that I read about informal letter actually. So the person is a guy. He was asking John, was it John, one of his friends, that how are you doing? Okay, see how this letter is going. Now, how are you doing? How is? Let me just say, the person said, "How is Chidera? I hope I hope he will keep to his promise as he said." So these are assumptions. The person is actually writing letter in exam, but like he can create something. He's assuming that Chidera is non-existent, but he has to bring it in such a way that making the letter look real. You get? So like this one now, we said what? When you are reading that letter that is written by that person, you think you it will be like as if you are talking to somebody face to face. The same thing with books. There are some books or novels that you'll be reading, or even storybooks that you'll be reading. Like, you'll be thinking, your head, you can imagine the scene, you can see the scene. Say she picked up the cup from the table, you can only imagine a girl picking up a cup from the table. So this correspondence, if the main idea, or the thing about it, is that it should be as if that person that is talking to you is actually close to you. Then another one is memorandum. I think there are actually two, the letter and the memorandum. So this memo is a form of official interdepartmental communication that is used to convey essential decisions or information. So this one mostly is used by offices, right? Where they have their staff, their various staff, maybe the HR department, the accounting department, everybody is present. But let's say the CEO, the owner of the firm, wants to pass a very important notice of there's a new legislation and they want to inform all the staff about it, or maybe there's a new guideline, or they don't want, there's just a way now they want everybody to be behaving. Perhaps maybe they brought in this clock, this time clock, that anybody who comes in henceforth should always go and write the time he or she comes into the office. So if there are innovations like that and they want to pass those informations in offices, what they use is what? Memo. And I would like you to, because I can't bring it down into this note that I wrote. There are actually examples of memo. There is an example of this letter we are talking about. You see the formal letter and informal letter. They are in that icon pack, your icon pack. So I would like you, maybe after this class, just take your time and go to the park and check how the informal letter is written, check how, see the differences between the formal and the informal, and then also see the difference between